Bois with Dr. Anthony Montero. If you're calling up about Du Bois, then you call 215-634-8065 or toll free 866-361-0900. Class is in session.
Good morning. How you doing,
Good morning.
Professor Smith?
Doing well.
It's good to be here with you and your audience, and Coesa, of course. You know, yesterday I read in the Philadelphia Inquirer a report that said that poverty and hunger, especially hunger, increased by 22% in the last year in Philadelphia. And, you know, it was a disturbing report because, you know, that is an indication of deep misery among especially black people, but also brown people and some of the white poor. And it occurred to me that we find ourselves living the legacy of slavery, and in some ways, many of our people are living in the 21st century in a way not that far removed from what it was like in slavery. And so a Du Boisian question occurred to me about what is the spiritual life world of black folk under these conditions. And this was a question that he took up in his 1903 book. I think it's his most famous book, entitled The Souls of Black Folk. And the last chapter of that work, chapter 14, is entitled The Sorrow Songs. They have come to be called Negro spirituals, sometimes gospel, sometimes the blues and rhythm and blues. It is, however, our foundational music and the source of our poetry. So I'd like to read some of that this morning. I hope I don't go too long, but I think the listeners will find this quite interesting and illuminating. Du Bois says, "They that walked in darkness sang songs in the ancient times, sorrow songs, for they were weary at heart. And so before each thought that I have written in this book, The Souls of Black Folk, I have set a phrase, a haunting echo of these old songs in which the souls of the black slaves spoke to men. Ever since I was a child, these songs have stirred me strangely. They came out of the South, unknown to me, one by one, and yet at once I knew them as of me and of mine. Then in after years, when I came to Nashville, Tennessee to go to Fisk University, I saw the great temple built of these songs, towering over that pale city. To me, Jubilee Hall, this great auditorium built by the money raised by the Fisk Jubilee singers, seemed ever made of the songs themselves, and its bricks were red with the blood of dust of toil. Out of them rose for me morning, noon, and night, bursts of wonderful melody, full of the voices of my brothers and sisters, full of the voices of the past. Little of beauty has America given the world, save the rude grandeur God himself stamped on this nation. The human spirit in this new world has expressed itself in vigor and ingenuity rather than in beauty. And so by fateful chance, the Negro folk song, the rhythmic cry of the slave, stands today not simply as the sole American music, but as the most beautiful expression of human experience born this side of the seas. It has been neglected. It has been and is half despised, and above all, it has been persistently mistaken and misunderstood. But notwithstanding, it still remains as the singular spiritual heritage of the nation and the greatest gift of the Negro people. What are these songs, and what do they mean? I know little of music and can say nothing in technical phrase, but I know something of men, and knowing them, I know that these songs are the articulate message of the slaves to the world. They tell us in these eager days that life was in some ways joyous, careless and happy. I can easily believe this of some, of many, but not all. The past South through it rose from the dead can gainsay the heart-touching witness of these songs. They are the music of an unhappy people, of the children of disappointment. They tell of death and suffering, an unvoiced longing towards a truer world of misty wanderings and hidden ways. The songs are indeed the sifting of centuries. The music is far more ancient than the words, and in it we can trace here and there signs of evolution. My grandfather's grandmother was seized by an evil Dutch trader 2 centuries ago, and coming to the valley of the Hudson and the Housatonic in western New York, black, little in life, she shivered and shrank in the harsh north winds, looked longingly at the hills, and often crooned an African melody to the children between her knees. The child sang it to his children, and they to their children's children. And so 200 years it has traveled down to us, and we sing it to our children, knowing as little as our fathers what its words may mean, but knowing well the meaning of its music. In these songs, I have said, the slave spoke to the world. Such a message is naturally veiled and half articulate. Words and music have lost each other, and new and cant phrases of a dimly understood theology have displaced the oldest sentiment. Once in a while we catch a strange word of an unknown tongue, as in the mighty Mayo, which figures as a river of death. More often slight words or mere doggerel are joined to music of singular sweetness. Purely secular songs are few in number, partly because many of them were turned into hymns by a change of words, partly because the frolics were seldom heard by the stranger, and the music less often caught. Of nearly all the songs, however, the music is distinctly sorrowful. The 10 master songs I have mentioned tell in a word and music of the trouble and exile, of strife and hiding. They grope towards some unseen power and sigh for rest in the end. Through all the sorrow of the sorrow songs, there breathes a hope, a faith in the ultimate justice of things. The minor cadences of despair change often to triumph and calm confidence. Sometimes it is faith in life, sometimes a faith in death, sometimes assurance of boundless justice in some fair world beyond. But whichever it is, the meaning is always clear, that sometime, somewhere, men will judge men by their souls and not by their skins. Is such a hope justified? Do the sorrow songs sing true? Your country, white America, how came it yours? Before the pilgrims landed, we were here. Here we have brought our 3 gifts and mingled them with yours. A gift of story and song, soft stirring melody in an ill-harmonized and unmelodious land. The gift of sweat and brawn to beat back the wilderness, conquer the soil, and lay the foundations of this vast economic empire 200 years earlier than your weak hands could have done it. The third, a gift of the Spirit. Around us, the history of the land has centered for 300 years. Out of the nation's heart, we have called all that was best to throttle and subdue all that was worst. Fire and blood, prayer and sacrifice have billowed over this people, and they have found peace only in the altars of the God of right. Nor has our gift of the Spirit been merely passive. Actively, we have woven ourselves with the very warp and woof of this nation. We fought their battles, shared their sorrows, mingled our blood with theirs, and generation after generation have pleaded with a headstrong and careless people, to despise not justice, mercy, and truth, lest the nation be smitten with a curse. Our song, our toil, our cheer, and warm warning have been given to this nation in blood brotherhood. Are not these gifts worth the giving? Is not this work and striving? Would America have been America without the Negro people? Even so is the hope that sang in the songs of my fathers well sung. If somewhere in this whirl and chaos of things there dwells eternal good, pitiful yet masterful, then anon in his good time America shall rend the veil, and prison shall go free, free, free as the sunshine trickling down the morning into these high windows of mine, free as yonder fresh young voices welling up to me from the caverns of brick and mortar below, swelling with song, instinct with life, tremulous treble and darkening bass. My children, my little children, are singing to the sunshine. Thank you very much.
We'll take a quick break, and then we'll go straight to the phone lines. I see we got Jamila, Mo, everybody on the phone lines. We're coming right to you here in Du Bois. I am Aaron Smith, the rapping professor, in the studio with Dr. Anthony Montero. Queen Kuwait is a super producer. Put some respect on her name. And you are waking up with word, y'all.
Looking for a delicious Sunday brunch? Enjoy an all-you-can-eat feast at Brown's ShopRite Island Avenue from 1 till 4 p.m. Delight in the buffet of delicious food each Sunday for only $15.99. Enjoy live entertainment, watch the games on the big screen, and remember, kids under 3 eat free. This weekly event will offer a variety of delicious food from the hot bar and the wok. If you're not full the first time, don't worry. Have all you can eat while enjoying the company of others. Sundays from 1 to 4 at Brown's ShopRite of Island Avenue.
At Champion Dentistry, we want to make sure your smile is as healthy as it is beautiful. Whether you're calling for a routine checkup, calling about a newly developed toothache, or interested in learning about cosmetic dentistry options. Our services include routine checkups, cosmetic dentistry, gum care, laser dentistry, and more. Champion Dentistry is in the Overbrook Farm section of the city, easily reachable by public transportation. Call 215-473-4717 to schedule an appointment today or visit championdentistry.org, the House of Smiles.
Real ID is coming. Are you ready? Real ID is a federal requirement that affects how all states issue driver's licenses and ID cards. After October 1, 2020, you will need a Real ID or another TSA-approved form of ID to board all flights or enter federal facilities that require ID. Real IDs will be available in spring 2019, but you can pre-verify now. It's easy. Learn how at penndot.gov/realid. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
You're listening to Wake Up with Word on Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, Independent Black Media.
Independent Black Media, 900 AM, 96.1 FM. Aaron Smith, Queen Kuwait in the studio with Dr. Anthony Montero here. Du Bois going straight to those phone lines. Jamila, all the way from Illinois, thank you for waking up with Word.
Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. So this is one of my favorite of Du Bois from Souls of Black Folks, and really one of my favorites of all of his work, especially because of that last paragraph, your country, how came it yours? It's like my Declaration of Independence, my Star-Spangled Banner. It's like my Constitution, because there's so many moments that I become distraught as to whether or not this country is worth fighting for. This, the union that we, that we fought to sustain, is it worth fighting for? But it's these words where he reminds us that this is ours, that we can bring forth good and justice and truth, to a land, to a world that's not seen democracy before, and that's what our legacy is. So thank you, as always, for sharing these words and really emphasizing the importance that he brings in a moment like now, as, Black women are, on the forefront of trying to save this nation. I question, is it worth it? But it's the words of Du Bois that offers, some level of like solace that.
And if I might interrupt you, Jamila, the word save it how? A lot of people believe that saving it means to become a part of its evilness. From a Du Boisian standpoint, to save the nation would be to acknowledge and go back to the wisdoms of what he in this essay called the sorrow songs, the truths that the enslaved Africans brought and continue to bring to this nation. And for example, he says, the spirit of truth and justice, which this nation does not know, and the spirit of the spiritual life. So it's a very poignant, and I think written in 1903 is very, very relevant in 2018, almost 400 years to the day that the first African was brought as a slave to this nation.
Yes, very good. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You also have Mo from North Philly calling up. Mo, thank you for waking up with Word.
Yeah, good morning, man.
Good morning, Mo. How you doing? Long time.
Yeah, man, I got to get your phone number, too.
Okay.
I'll leave mine. You can call me, Dr. Matero.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, looking at the, conditions, how would you say Du Bois would look at an individual like Wilson Good, Obama? Because, I hear people still praising these guys, and they don't realize, to me, Obama did more damage to Africa than the Berlin Conference. He had more military operations going on in Africa than he had in Afghanistan, Iran, and Iraq. It's serious.
That's a very, if I might just interrupt you, that is a very profound point you make. You mentioned the Berlin Conference of 1884-85, where the European powers divided Africa up. America was not a part of it. But in the 2000s, especially after 2008, we saw the build-up of American troops throughout Africa in another attempt to divide Africa. You ask me, what would Du Bois think of those that many thinkers and writers and journalists call the black misleadership class? In 1903, he wrote an essay on the talented 10th. He said those who had gifts of knowledge and had opportunity should give back to the masses of people who did not have that opportunity. He would say 45 years later that group that he called the talented 10th had abandoned their historic responsibility and had substituted for service what he called selfishness, unbridled selfishness. And he called after that for what he called a guiding 100th, that black people needed leadership that was organic to the black community and the black struggle. I think many of those who have opted to play the game of the system have abandoned the needs and aspirations of ordinary and in many ways impoverished, hungry, and uneducated black folk.
Yeah, because most of the rotisserie Negro politicians, they're in it for the 3 Ps, a paycheck, a pension, and a perk. But the other 2 Ps, the people and principle, they don't stand for.
Yes, sadly.
And it really gets to me. Yeah, this guy, he's responsible for the death of 11 people, man. Burned the whole neighborhood down, and they still want to forgive this guy. Put him, how you call yourself a Muslim and want to name a street after this Negro?
Mm-hmm.
You got to get out of your mind, man.
Right.
That's not Islam. It's just like me being a Muslim. I got a problem with Muslims here in America who sit back and watch these so-called Muslims in Libya burn black babies up.
Mm-hmm.
There's not an outcry.
Yeah.
Just like when they stole Palestine, the Italian mafia boy Jimmy DeRito Faniana said they got together, the gangsters, and they got money, got guns for the so-called Jew to take the land from them. And Ralph Bunche didn't negotiate no borders They negotiated a ceasefire peace treaty, but they stole the land and with guns that was raised by gangsters.
I appreciate your call, Mo. We're going to wrap up, but definitely great information here, Du Bois. And we also want to make sure that you stay in tune for this empowerment experience. The empowerment experience featuring a special presentation by nationally acclaimed author, life coach, TV personality, and former WURD host Ayanna Van Zant from Ayanna Fix My Life. Saturday, December 1st from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Make sure you are there. The historic Art Street Meeting House, that's at 320 Art Street in Philadelphia. And this is what it includes, right? The health and wellness resources, free and open to the public. A job readiness workshop. Anybody looking for a job or just looking for a better job or do better at your job? Job readiness workshop is free and open to the public. A holiday marketplace, free and what? Open to the public. Shop with and support your local small businesses. Let's not just get on these airwaves and talk the talk, but let's walk the walk. Ayanna Van Zant's presentation is ticketed. Please don't walk up in there talking about I came to see Ayanna and you didn't spend an iota of money. Early bird special, though. This is what we're doing. If you're a Word member, just $10. Just $10. And you get it, just $10. And if you're not a Word member, $20. But after November 23rd, the early bird special ends November 23rd. After that, it's $25 to see Ayanna. But you can still job readiness workshop, health and wellness resources, holiday marketplace, still all free and open to the public. For more information or to purchase your tickets, make sure you get there early. I'm not sure how the seating works. It might be first come, first serve. It might be stadium seating. It might be VIP meet and greet. I don't know.